drums and stuff with that some hat-act country guy inside singing about his truck or something.
Punk rock just happened to be the vehicle for those people that were doing that stuff at that time. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, it could have been disco. Okay, Saturday Night Fever is a punk rock movie, man. You know what I'm saying? It's like, they're cool. You know what I mean? They're a little disco crew. They were going
Graham,
out
no.
And I
get off table.
It's like rebel. You know what I mean? It's whatever. And whether it's rap, I was so stoked on the rap stuff when it came out, man. I thought, yeah, that's fucking punk rock, man. The first time I heard NWA, I said, that is punk rock. You know, that is just fucking, that rules. You know?
Punk rock can be in a myriad of styles of music or sounds, as long as it has the actual spirit of rebellion.
Right, or the whole thing, or just doing something that people don't want, going against whatever it is. You know, it's like I used to tell people, you know, I have my hair done in a fucking, like Marilyn Monroe with a tube top and a dress, you know, playing lounge music with a fucking cello behind me, and I look at these guys and go, you think what you're doing? You know, this is fucked up, man. And you know, and now I think a lot of this stuff now, you know, it's hard to tell who's on your team. Now, it's like, because anybody can sound. It's like, yeah, because the music is so, it's goddamn, it's punk rock, damn, man, it's a Sprite commercial. You know what I mean? It's fucked. It's like I looked at these kids, I got to fight with these kids, man. I looked at them, you know, I said, you fucking idiots, man. I go, you learned your life from a fucking Pepsi commercial, man. You dress like it, you fucking drink it, you know, you listen to that sound, that MTV punk rock sound, you know, and you think it's punk. It's not. It's not. It's a fucking joke.
One thing that broke my heart about my early times in San Francisco was seeing some of the greatest bands I'll ever see in my life, playing some of the greatest shows I've ever seen in my life, and nobody was recording. Nobody had any money to make records. And so I felt like, you know, if I ever came into money or walked into the scene as a trust fund baby or something like that, this is what I would do, is I would try and get these bands on tape before they blew apart. I mean, the Avengers could have made 3 albums worth of songs, all of which would be classics today. Same for the Screamers, same for the Sleepers, and the rest of them. And some of the best music I've ever heard was lost to history, and I didn't want that to happen anymore. So when Dead Kennedys got well-known and popular in England, it was just a fluke, a sheer stroke of luck. Went to the East Coast and lost our shirts on a little tour before we even put a record out. We left a few of the early copies of California Uber Alice that Ray had pressed up behind, and somebody from Fast Records, who was a hot label in England at the time, his first few singles were by bands with names like Gang of Four, Mekons, Human League, and they wanted to re-release California Uber Alice on Fast. And so it took off like a rocket in England. There was nothing England or Europe had ever, like anything England or Europe had ever heard before. Right. And for the most part, except for the Ramones and the Dickies, they were completely unaware of what American punk was about, let alone that it was because it had been squashed underground for so long, it had become a great deal heavier, more demented, and more insane than British punk has ever been. Why are you the only band in America that's saying, no, that's not true at all. There's DOA, there's Black Flag, there's Flipper, there's the Bad Brains, there's Circle Jerks, etc., 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 etc. So I figured at that point we've got to resurrect Alternative Tentacles and put out a compilation album to blow open Europe for the American underground, which was what Let Them Eat Jelly Beans was. And ironically, it then spilled back around and got well known enough in America that it helped crack open the United States as well. Of course, people could take that record home for the Dead Kennedys song and then realize that there was a band right in their town who was doing equally important things, and maybe it's time to get off their butts and support them.
Nothing, what's really funny though is not one of them ever did anything outside of LA.
But they saw it.
They toured, but it was never really much outside of LA. It's crazy. I don't know why. It couldn't, I'll tell you why. From the Germs to Vox Pop to 45 Grave, Celebrity Skin, and even more recently to a band 3 Day Stubble that I played with, it doesn't translate quite as well to record as it could. The that you had to be there. It wasn't just about like a bunch of guys on a stage playing music.
Right.
It was a thing, and it was a whole thing. And whatever it was not something that was translated.
I remember all these people got pissed at me because in the Times one time there was this big quote, I said getting hurt, it was healthy. And it is, it's like I think back, when you're a kid, man, you're jumping on the bed, and your parents say, hey, stop. Fuck, you're going, and you're going, they're going, look, you're going to get hurt. Stop. And you go, and then you bounce.